Ender incoming. Hit confirmed.
The first time I lost my mech in Synduality Echo of Ada was on my second sortie, and a lot of things went wrong. I made a series of avoidable mistakes, and this mech-flavored extraction shooter made sure I lost everything I had for it.
Any day now.
So, it's a good sign that after I was done cursing, I was immediately excited to try to get it all back. Satisfying combat means going out on a sortie is always tense, but Synduality's slow progression can really bog down an otherwise great extraction shooter. And I wouldn't blame anyone for dipping out before they see the good stuff.
It is the duty of a drifter to work with their magus and master the cradle coffin, to battle humanity's greatest enemy, the Enders, and gather the precious AO crystals.
Synduality has a cool premise. In the far future, humanity has been nearly wiped out by a mysterious blue rain that also made animals and plants gigantic and aggressive. To survive, society has moved underground and adopted the use of enormous mechs called cradle coffins to explore the surface world and gather energy-producing AO crystals. You step into the role of a nameless, faceless mech pilot. Your goal? Get up there, get the things you need to upgrade your base and make some cash, and get out before the locals turn your cradle coffin into a grave. Cradle coffins aren't your traditional mechs. They're slower than something you'd find in Armored Core, but faster than the behemoths you'd see in MechWarrior. Ready for a deep cut? They're actually a lot like the mechs from 2002's Phantom Crash, which is to say they're a nice balance of being reasonably fast, but still heavy and limited in terms of, shall we say, vertical mobility. Armored Core mechs can dunk like Jordan. Cradle coffins got no ups. In addition to your mech, you've got a customizable AI called a Magus helping to guide you while you're out on the surface by marking objectives on your map.
I've placed a marker on the map. Check it out.
Alerting you to threats, and even keeping track of the weather.
The rain has stopped.
There are several different personalities to choose from, including supportive mentor lady, demure eager to please girl, encouraging big brother, and spicy athlete who just wants you to be the best version of yourself.
So buck up and choke down your veggies.
They're a weirdly likable little crew, and since they're the only companion you'll have for most of your time with Synduality, their presence is welcome.
I won't let you down. Promise.
In addition to their clothes and look, I appreciate that you can also customize the special abilities and focus of your Magus. That could be finding AO crystals, giving you the lowdown on the other cradle coffins you'll run into,
We've got contact from another drifter. This one's in good standing with the association.
or providing more info about different Enders, which is the name for all the superpowered flora and fauna.
A lot of drifters are getting their asses handed to them by Enders in this area.
I like the one who has a knack for spotting cradle coffins at range because hearing another engine in this game is stressful.
I have detected the drive sounds of an incoming cradle.
That said, most other players aren't out there to kill you and take your things. Usually an encounter with somebody else means aiming your guns at each other until one of you finally uses the wave emote, then nervously going your separate ways like you're a gunslinger staring down somebody you're unsure of. It's tense because you're never more than a single insuranceless run away from losing all your stuff. That whole "we're all working together to help humanity" thing sets up that cautious camaraderie, but there's always the danger that someone's going to see your shiny shotgun and think, I want that, and I don't want to work for it.
Direct hit to enemy coffin.
I've exchanged some gunfire with other pilots, but it's pretty rare early on. Of course, one time I saw somebody take a bad fight against some Enders and they were low on health, and I was above them with a sniper rifle and their back was to me, and, well, I hope they were insured.
Enemy coffin hit.
One day, somebody's gonna nail me, and I won't blame them. You're always making interesting choices. How far from the elevators that bring you to and from the safety of the underground are you willing to venture? What kind of materials are you looking to collect for your base, and how much are you willing to risk to get them?
Objective material acquired.
How much ammo will you head out with? What kind of mech? Will you prioritize carrying capacity or defense?
Cargo weight is increased. It's killing our mobility.
All of these choices matter, and you may regret your words and deeds when you're sitting at low health with no repair kits, far away from an elevator in a world where everything wants to kill you. Knowing what you want to accomplish on a given run and choosing the right tools to do it is key. The stuff you bring back to base can be used to spruce it up, which is good because it starts off as a literal cave covered in weeds. That could mean something simple like adding floors to your living space, upgrading your item warehouse so you can store more stuff, or building a production space to create your own repair kits. Every little upgrade you manage feels meaningful, and it's cool to watch your base go from an empty shell to something functional.
Hey, just want to be clean enough so that nobody gives us weird looks, okay?
But this also brings me to Synduality's biggest problem. The grind. The first dozen or so hours have you doing the same thing over and over again. You'll go out on the same map, head to the same areas to find upgrade supplies, fight the same enders, hear the same Magus dialogue, and then head back to base and do it all over again.
Return request transmitted.
That's fine. This loop remains tense, and while fighting enders loses its appeal after a while because you learn how to deal with them quickly, the threat of losing all your stuff carries the day.
Looks like it was effective.
Once you unlock the right stuff, things really open up, but those early hours can drag.
You picked up literal garbage. Don't feel bad. Could happen to anyone.
That said, you're only ever one run away from excitement. Once I had 2 back-to-back deaths to enders. I was upset, to put it lightly. Some of the stuff I'd lost I'd gotten from progressing through Synduality's Battle Pass, which meant I didn't actually have the means to replace it manually yet. But on my very next run, I ran into someone else's destroyed mech and took everything I could, and I was right back in it. That was the moment that my luck changed, as well as my view on Synduality overall. Once you get into the groove, it's a lot of fun, and you can really drill down on what you want to focus on each run. And you never know when you might find something cool.
Something rare.
Synduality does eventually give you more to do. You'll unlock another map with new biomes, harder enders, and more difficult objectives, but that also means more experienced players with better stuff, some of whom will be helpful and some not. There are also single-player missions that play out like combat gauntlets, and I really enjoyed the ones that I played. They're a great way to learn to deal with other cradle coffins in particular. Unfortunately, they don't give you anything you can carry back with you besides some video and audio logs that explain Synduality's lore. These missions are fun, but right now they feel disconnected from the main loop, and that's a shame. I just wish completing them gave you money or plans to build some of the mechs you used or something. There's unfortunately no way to squad up with your friends before you head out onto a map either, but you can do specific co-op missions with players you run into. Joining up with them gives you a new co-op objective. The first one I did asked us to destroy a corrupt AO crystal protected by lots and lots of enders. You're only squatted up for as long as that objective lasts, however. Once that AO crystal was history, our alliance was broken. Neither of us ended up shooting at each other, but we were both pretty wary as we backed away. Like everything else in Synduality, there's a lot of risk-reward to co-op missions, but you also get a lot of good stuff if you get home alive.
Even managed to get some items on your wish list.
Then there are the microtransactions in Battle Pass that can speed up the process of getting a better cradle coffin substantially despite this not being a free-to-play game. When I lost everything in that first run, I was able to get back on my feet pretty quickly because the code provided by Bandai Namco for this review unexpectedly came with the deluxe version of the Battle Pass and several level skips. If you don't have that, progress is slow, unless you're regularly completing daily and weekly quests, which award a ton of experience, though you're always making progress towards one and they rarely feel stuck.
Try a little professionalism.
To its credit, the Battle Pass gives you a decent amount of stuff for free, assuming you don't immediately lose it to another player. But whether it's in-game currency or real money, you'll have to pony up for everything. But it does feel like you can make progress at a reasonable pace, even if you don't open your wallet. Synduality is a tense extraction shooter with a cool premise. Its mech-based action plays well, but the early grind is an absolute slog, even if you're not dying much. My drive to play even started to die after a while because I was doing the same things on repeat, but I powered through that for this review, and I'm ultimately glad I did, because what comes after that slow opening is great. Upgrades can still feel arbitrarily slow to unlock, but there's nothing quite like smoking some poor sucker who picks a fight with you in single combat. Just be sure to buy insurance. It's a scam, but it may save your life, or at least your mech. And in the world of Synduality, that's really all you have. For more, check out our reviews of Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector, and Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2.